The Small Venues Network is an informal organisation made up of 11 smaller arts venues in the Yorkshire region. We share our knowledge and experience for the benefit of all members at our quarterly meetings and are currently involved in a development project funded by Grants for the Arts, exploring how the network can work better together and develop plans for its future. The network covers a wide range of venues, each with its own programming style. We actively look for opportunities to co-promote work and are sometimes able to coordinate a short series of dates with touring artists, giving companies a set of consecutive performances within short travelling distances.
Well, Junction was instrumental in setting up the Small Venues Network with our then relationship manager at Arts Council, a guy called Ralph Dartford, who we'd been talking with over a couple of years probably. Wouldn't it be great if? And one day during a meeting we had here, we decided now is the time, let's do it. Ralph undertook to get in touch with other similar sized venues across the region. We agreed to host the first meeting. It happened here with about 15 participants. The vast majority of those are still involved today, so there's clearly something working there.
Now the SVN, I think, is a fantastic tool really to engage with new venues, to kind of support your peers, to generally just chat, to talk through, I suppose, individual problems, because a lot of small venues have their own idiosyncratic kind of issues really and their own kind of challenges, and sometimes they feel like they're in a silo and it's kind of they struggle within their own kind of environment or their own bubble. But the SVN's allowed us to kind of stretch out our bubbles really and kind of just talk and share and kind of support the sector really in general, because we all want to create a better arts sector for Yorkshire.
I'm the only one that programmes the venue and I don't have anyone to talk to about it. And there are things that turn up, like my eternal battle with PRS in the early days, and just having someone else that's gone through the same thing to talk about just seemed like a no-brainer. I wanted to be involved to get that out of the network.
Running a small venue can be quite a lonely business because the nature of them is small. There's only usually one or two people involved in the process, and you have lots of demands on you all the time from all sorts of people who don't appreciate the number of different things that you do. And so really I think most of the small venue network people would say it's about peer support actually, and knowing, and in my case particularly, having contact with people who really do know the arts in a much more intimate way than I do, particularly theatre and music.
I think we were looking at getting support from other people. The networking thing is very important because you're very isolated in a small venue in a rural area. So to meet with like-minded professionals, there's always something that you can share with them and they share with you. So it has been useful from that perspective.
The SVN supported us in all kinds of ways, but particularly with funding support to help us put on some new writing, some great quality, high quality theatre that I know that everyone that came to see thoroughly enjoyed and got a great deal out of. But if we hadn't had support from the SVN, it would have been very difficult financially to put on some of these performances, and we probably wouldn't have done it.
So SVN has really helped us with marketing and training for that. So we've done some surveys with Indigo Marketing, which have been really, really useful to give us a feedback from our customers, what they like, what they don't like. It's also been really good for training. We've done some sessions with the audience agency and that kind of informal training between organisations as well.
Well, in this past year, the thing that I found most helpful about being part of the SVN were in the form of particular shows that we got that I wouldn't have even known had existed. And not only were they subsidised by the SVN, but they were glorious shows, and it was wonderful being able to put on those shows here at the Georgian Theatre, and it marked a kind of a different type of show that I wouldn't have had in the programme, and they were really well received, and that was something that wouldn't have been enabled had it not been for the network.
The SVN's, I suppose, for us, the main support that the SVN has brought really is within the programming, really to actually take more risks and to actually have a little bit of, solidarity on the work that we're programming together across the region.
Everybody's just so on board with it, and we get to do so many different things during the last 3 years, we've taken part in a project called Northern Accent. Northern Accent has allowed us to start growing a literature audience. So we started at a very small capacity audience. And then with subsidy underwriting that, it's allowed us to grow that audience, so much so that we have now started our own and the only Northern Short Story Festival that is happening across the whole of the North. And we're continuing that following the project, the Northern Accent project. So we're going to be doing that every year, and that's because of the Northern Accent funding.
So with the commission, there was a separate pot of money available, and we put it out to tender, specifying that it had to be suitable and adaptable for all of the 12 venues, both in terms of size and the technical requirements available as well, because each venue's got different setups and different arrangements. There was an interview process, and then it's just been sort of work in progress work, and sort of being able to see something from initial sort of storyboard idea to the end result has been a really interesting process.
We decided collectively to fund 154 Collective to create a performance called Cardboard Joe. And within that, we funded them a certain amount, and the Cardboard Joe itself happened because of the SVN funding. And we gave a lot of support. So 154 used our rehearsal rooms. They built their set in our wood workshop. They teched at Svn Arts Centre, and then the tour went all over every venue and was really successful. It was a brilliant show using lots of interesting technology, but it fitted in all of our spaces, from a 350-seater to a 70-seater, and it was really well received everywhere, and I'm really proud of that piece of work.
I would thoroughly recommend joining the network. I think there's an awful lot to be gained from it. There's no real financial cost to it, so it really is all benefits.
I think other venues should think about joining the SVN, because it's a really valuable organisation for idea sharing, for meeting new people from other venues, and hopefully it become a really powerful regional body that's highly respected by artists, by funders, by other venues, and that it could become a real force to be reckoned with on a regional and national level.
So I think other venues should consider joining the SVN because it's brilliant. It's a brilliant supportive thing, network of different people from all walks of life who, at the end of the day, are there to help each other, to keep the venues running. You get support. We've had in the past support to do funded touring theatre. We've had different marketing training given to us, audience development help. It's brilliant for contacts. It's brilliant for sharing information and support.